for a Next News special report.
In a jaw-dropping moment on the witness stand, Michael Cohen, once President Trump's trusted attorney, admitted to stealing from the Trump organization and lying to the company's CFO. But that's not all. Cohen also revealed that he has a financial interest in the outcome of Alvin Bragg's case against Trump and shockingly stated that he would lie to the jury if it affected his personal life. You won't believe the implications of these stunning revelations in our special report. Now, as Michael Cohen's testimony shakes the very foundations of this case, it's a reminder of the importance of truth and integrity. Just like how Cohen's lies threaten to derail the prosecution, dishonesty can erode the pillars of society. That is why, now more than ever, we need your support to continue our mission of delivering the unvarnished truth. By donating to our cause, you're not just keeping our channel alive, you are defending the values that make America great. The links below offer a way for you to stand with us in this critical moment. Together, let's keep the light of truth shining bright. Now, Michael Cohen, the prosecution's star witness against Alvin Bragg's case against President Trump, has sent shockwaves through the courtroom when he admitted to stealing tens of thousands of dollars from the Trump organization. During a tense cross-examination by Trump's attorney Todd Blanche, Cohen confessed to lying to Trump org CFO Allen Weisselberg about the amount that he needed to be reimbursed for a payment to the tech company Redfinch. While Cohen had requested $50,000, he only gave the company $20,000, pocketing the difference for himself. Now, the revelations did not stop there. Cohen also acknowledged that he has a financial interest in the outcome of Bragg's case against Trump, raising serious questions about his motivations and credibility as a witness. Perhaps most shocking of all, when asked if he'd be willing to lie to the jury if it affected his personal life, Cohen responded with a resounding, "Yes, sir." Fox News reporters were quick to discuss the implications of Cohen's admission, with many expressing disbelief at the brazen nature of his testimony. Take a look.
Finch. And Cohen confirms that he owed Redfinch 50 grand and never paid the full cash. Trump's attorney, Blanche, says, "You stole from the Trump organization." Cohen says, "Yes, sir." He also confirms lying to Allen Weisselberg. I don't know how many that is on the list, but that's another prevarication. And Cohen says he never pleaded guilty to larceny. On they go. Blanche presses Cohen. "You did steal from the Trump organization based upon the expected reimbursement of Redfinch." And he says, "Yes, sir." So that's
unbelievable. Now, over on CNN, a panel including legal analysts argued that Cohen's acknowledgement of stealing funds from the Trump organization must establish reasonable doubt for the jury. Ellie Honing, a CNN legal analyst, called Cohen's admission a bomb dropped in the middle of the prosecution's case, citing two key reasons. Let's watch.
This is a bomb. This is really important. This is a bomb dropped in the middle of the prosecution's case. Two reasons. One, Michael Cohen was stealing from Donald Trump. He was lying to people about what he was doing with money. He pocketed at least the $30,000 by lying to Weisselberg.
It's twice, really, by the way, because remember, they double it to avoid tax reasons.
So $60,000, which, by the way, this is crushing to the prosecution's credibility, because the prosecution did not ask Michael Cohen about that on direct, and they haven't made him plead guilty to larceny.
Which this is.
So let's start with that. Look, real quick. The other reason it's so important is the money that Michael Cohen stole from under Donald Trump's nose,
by his own admission today,
was part of the $420,000 that Michael Cohen was reimbursed for Stormy Daniels. So the heart of the prosecution's case is that whole setup where they were going to repay Michael Cohen $420,000 to reimburse him for Stormy Daniels. That was all done to pay Stormy Daniels. Trump knew it. Trump knew every penny. That's why he's guilty. Now it turns out Trump is getting robbed by his own guy.
Yeah, I mean, my question here is, why has no one coached Michael Cohen, or why does Michael Cohen not say, when asked on this on cross, "I don't recall"? I mean, isn't that kind of the universal?
Apparently, he does recall, though.
He does recall. It's a lie.
But Tim, is this? I mean, we've been wondering all along. All you need is one juror to say, "I have reasonable doubt." What's your assessment of whether or not any reasonable juror would have reasonable doubt based on this information?
Well, I think this is significant for reasonable doubt purposes. You now have two major issues. One of the phone calls that wasn't, what he originally talked about, and the calculation of the money that wasn't what he originally talked about. And it's not only, going to his credibility, but it also goes to Alvin Bragg's office's credibility. because
how did they not get this out ahead of time?
Exactly.
No idea. No idea.
And you have two different things. When it comes to the Schiller call, they're going to argue to the jury, how did they not know that? Why did we have to bring it out? We got it from the text that we got from discovery from them, and apparently Michael Cohen said they never asked him about it. They didn't figure it out.
No, he says Cohen says he has told multiple prosecutors with the DA's office about it.
Correct.
Assuming that's true. I mean, we don't, again, we don't know if that's true. But he's saying he told them about it. They didn't bring it up.
This is worse because this is something that he discussed with prosecutors. Prosecutors knew that the evidence they were putting on was tainted by this additional crime, and they didn't talk about it.
I have a devil's advocate question.
Sure.
Is it possible that the prosecution can come back and redirect and somehow tie what looks like him just flatly stealing money from the Trump organization to him paying himself back in order to cover up the crime that's alleged in this case?
They have to make every effort to rehabilitate Michael Cohen. They have to do so. They also have to rehabilitate, to Tim's point as well, their larger credibility that they may have. A juror could be thinking, well, why didn't I hear this before? You've given me a witness. You've told me about this person. You left out that after going through 90 minutes of all the different documents. But I want to refocus everyone for a second on what the government has to prove and why this is such a bombshell, as we've been talking about. Going to the tablet on this, because the checklist, they have to actually prove everyone.
Bring out the tablet.
Bring out the tablet. They have to prove that there was an intent to defraud. Here is the biggest part of this. If you are the defendant in this case, this is what they have to prove. You made and caused a false entry in the business records. If Michael Cohen was the one to falsify the number of documents there that he was not aware of what he was actually spending or what he was actually paying, well, then you've got an issue. Remember, this is all coming down to 11 checks to Cohen, 11 invoices submitted by Cohen, and then 12 entries in Trump's ledger. Now, one thing that they can do on the actual rehabilitation and certainly in jury instructions is that you have the ability to give an instruction in New York law that talks about intentionally aiding. The law in New York defines it as you may have caused somebody to do so, that you may be liable if you were the one in some respect or another to actually help somebody to do the crime itself. This is important, but you have to make sure that you can still prove that there was the intent to defraud, the intent to falsify. If Michael Cohen was the one to falsify, it's an interesting political decision that Trump had to make for his defense counsel. On the one hand, they spent a great deal of time in his books, right, talking about how he was one to sign the checks. No detail is too small to consider. Here's what any billionaire knows. You run a business this way. You have to know what's really going on inside of your business. Well, he has to admit, for the sake of his defense, that he was hustled by Michael Cohen, that he did not know what was going on. If that's the case, he had a problem.
Now, Elie Honig, the CNN legal analyst, he emphasized the significance of Cohen's admission, stating that it not only reveals Cohen's theft from Trump, but also underscores the prosecution's failure to address the issue during direct examination. And he noted that the stolen money was part of a $420,000 reimbursement for the Stormy Daniels payment, a central aspect of the prosecution's case. He criticized Bragg's team for not questioning Cohen about the theft, calling it prosecutorial malpractice. Jake Tapper, he summarized the potential impact of Cohen's testimony, suggesting that it creates a reasonable doubt for the jury, as Cohen's actions have essentially handed the defense a significant advantage. Now here's where it gets even crazier. Over on MSNBC, Lawrence O'Donnell offered a different perspective on Cohen's admitted theft of $30,000 from the Trump organization. O'Donnell defended Cohen's actions as Cohen claimed he deserved a bonus. Watch.
Inside the courtroom, you've been there almost every day. You have the strength of beyond mortal men. But what was worth it to you today? What did you see? What did you hear?
Well, you know, the courtroom is where I began as a writer and a reporter a long time ago. So this is a homecoming for me in terms of a workplace. The shocking thing at the end of that cross-examination, and I just can't tell you how stunning it was, because it's the thing that I was waiting for. I saw everything Todd Blanche. I've seen every minute of cross-examination. I've seen every single question he's asked. And he sat down and ended his cross-examination without asking a single question about the $130,000 that appears on the Alan Weisselberg notes about how they were structuring the payment to Michael Cohen. He asked about the $50,000. That's irrelevant to the $130,000, and that's where he very effectively got Michael Cohen to agree that yes, he stole $30,000. Later, when Cohen was asked about that on redirect by the prosecution, it didn't really sound like stealing $30,000. It sounded a lot like Michael Cohen doing the little that he could within that calculation to rebalance the bonus he thought he deserved, and it still came out as less than the bonus he thought he deserved and the bonus he'd gotten the year before.
Unbelievable. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is next. Michael Cohen's shocking admissions on the stand have dealt a severe blow to the prosecution's case against President Trump. By openly confessing to stealing from the Trump organization, lying to its CFO, and expressing a willingness to deceive the jury for personal gain, Cohen has effectively handed the Trump defense a major victory. His testimony has introduced substantial reasonable doubt, making it increasingly difficult for the prosecution to prove their case beyond the high standard required by our justice system. So as this trial continues to unfold, the American people can take comfort in knowing that the presumption of innocence remains intact, and that justice will be served by exposing the truth about the prosecution's deeply flawed reliance on a witness whose credibility has been shattered by his own actions.
Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. Now keep up your quest for truth with this next news report. And if you found our channel enlightening, join the millions who agree with you. Tap subscribe. Thank you for watching the Next News Network.